Hi everyone. Happy Thursday. We're going to play with some pigment powder. I know when I put these up I get lots of questions. And we're going to go over how there's different ways that you can use them. This is the second set that Palette Carys has put out. And of course we'll grab some of the original set too and her pots. Yep. Hold on 1 second. Let me put you up over here. I think I have to sneeze. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my goodness. They are super pretty. Aren't they pretty? You can create stones. You can buff it in. You can use it almost as chrome. And we'll go over some different ways to use it. It's odd that there's 5 people on here. Hi, guys. It doesn't matter. We save it anyway, so you guys can go back and look at it another time. All right. So, could be something going on with Instagram today. You never know. There are a couple things that you need to use when you're using. And I just got a weird connection thing. And for anybody who doesn't know, hi, I'm Lauren. I'm Inspo by Nails. I'm going to pin that just in case you're not following me. You'll see lots of short reels with Sweetie Nail Supply products. And I'm always happy to answer any questions. Inspo by Nails. I spelled it correctly. Now let me pin it. Okay. All right, so when you're playing with pigment palettes, pigment powders, look at these. Look how full this is. It is so full. These metallics, there's 6 new ones in her pigment powder collection. So let's look at those first, okay? So there's Sahara, which is definitely like a golden glow, okay? There is Mist, which is a gray. It's beautiful. There's Sahara, which is more like a copper reddish glow, or sienna, I'm sorry, sienna. And then there's Cocoa, which is a powdery, like mauve, maybe a little bit of brown, but it's definitely pink. Onyx, which is the black. I'm not sure why I can't see you guys. And Navy, okay, which is definitely a blue. And I learned something about this one yesterday, so I'm going to share that with you. If you're familiar with her pigments, you might have had these from her last set, which are like the gold, the silver, the white. You know, these are your standard colors. So the cool thing is these are all different from the original set, so you can just add to your collection. White is definitely used all the time, right? Yeah. And how you get them to work, you need gel cleanser. So yes, you could use alcohol. Yes, you could use acetone. However, they evaporate so quickly, it's kind of hard to manipulate the pigment powder. So if you use a gel cleanser, it gives you a little bit more drying time and time to manipulate the powders. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put these down. I'm going to show you what I use to mix them. And it's like a ceramic tile. All right. So you mix them usually before putting them on the nail. This is set 1 is down here and set 2 is right here. Sorry for the lighting there. It's that bright light. Bright light. The other thing that we're going to use today, of course, is her pigments, her gels, because they work beautifully with her gels. And the cool thing about pigments is you don't have to fully cover the nail to get a beautiful look. All right? You don't have to fully paint the nail is what I'm saying. Let the pigment shine through So we're going to do that really quick. Let's start with a square tip. When you're using her pots, and we're going to use a couple here, the thing to remember is if you have a pot that has a number, like this one, 10, vintage pink, this is going to be more opaque than any of the ones that have a T in front of it. T stands for transparent, and so that's going to be a more sheer potted gel. All right, but the cool thing with these is that you work with them while they're wet, right? You don't have to cure every time. You don't have to layer and bulk up the nail. These are such beautiful gels that you can just simply use a tiny bit, all right? And put it on the nail, all right? You see that tiny, tiny bit? And see how it's lighter here? The more you drag it out, the lighter it will be in certain areas. And that's really what we want. Then I'm just going to take a lint-free wipe. Actually, let me get one. It's so odd, I don't see any of you guys. I'm sorry if if you guys have comments, because I don't see anything. It just says we're telling your followers that you started live. Thanks, Instagram. We started 7 minutes ago. Neither here nor there. Let's take this transparent pink. It's peachy pink. Just so I can show you how transparent some of these are. And some are more sheer than others. You'll see that in like some... Guess they're having issues today. And I am simply going to mesh these two together. Okay? That's it. They melt perfectly into one another. Okay, let's take another one. One of the most popular colors, of course, is going to be TO1, which is a white. You want a milky white syrup. Always, always you want a milky white syrup because it goes with literally anything that you're doing. And then I'll show you that you can also go back in after we cure this little section. After you like how it looks, go ahead and give it a quick cure. But I'm just tapping and blending these colors ever so lightly, letting them do their thing. Okay. And it just gives depth to the nail, having those multiple colors on there. All right, we're going to give it a quick cure. I'm just wiping off the excess gel from my brush. It's very odd. Hi, guys. If anyone wants to try and type something, go ahead and do it, and I'll try and tell you if I can see it. It's like T09, T10. These are both super sheer browns. These will deepen up like some areas. We can use one right now. Be like, why are you using brown? You'll see. All right, that is done. So if you want to deepen up some areas, take a brown like this. And just go ahead and go right over the nail in places. Gives it a little bit of depth there. Maybe a little bit right up here. All right, so tap, tap, tap with an application brush. This nail actually already has a lot going on, right? A lot of different colors, a lot of different things. So we've got the more opaque pink, we've got the more transparent peach, we've got a little bit of the milky white, and then we just added some of really universal great gel to layer over anything because it's just going to deepen it a little bit, just like right there. Okay. Oh, I just put my finger in it. It's okay. It's fine. So now we want to use a pigment powder. If you're using white, which came in the first one, and you want that like heavy white line, kind of like this, you're going to want to matte the nail. If you're using a metallic, like we're going to use Sahara right now, we're just going to wipe off the nail. We're just going to wipe off the inhibition layer and just put it on. You could also even out the whole nail if you want to by doing a layer of clear. We can do that, and then we'll take off the inhibition layer. Nope, I still don't see any comments if you guys wrote something. Sorry, guys. Interesting, but there have been a lot of changes, right, with Instagram lately, so maybe that's why. Like I said, don't fret. We're going to save it anyway. We'll save it to my page, Sweetie's page. We'll save it to their YouTube, so you can go back and look at it another time. No worries. I love potted gels. And the reason I love them is you can get such a unique and layered look very, very, very quickly. Like you saw, there's hardly anything on this nail. It is not bulky in any way, shape, or form. Because they just work together so beautifully. And you can use them so thin. You do not need a lot. You use a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And yes, we did leave some of it naked. That's fine. Remember, that would really be your natural nail, not what it looks like on these clear things, but that's okay. But what you're going to want to do to activate these powders, you're going to want to take a little tiny bit of gel cleanser, and I'm actually going to use a bulky brush for this, like just a paintbrush type thing. And I'm going to get some gel cleanser on my brush, and I'm going to do the tiniest tap. Boop. Oh, that's actually a pretty big tap. And I'm putting it on my palette. Do you see what I made just right there? Okay, so there's our Sahara right here. All right. And because I use gel cleanser, it is going to take a little bit longer to dry. If you find what you put on your palette is dry, you just take a little more gel cleanser on your brush, dip, 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 okay? Pick up this Sahara, and let's just do this. See what we just added there? Just a little bit of that gold. You can add more here. Maybe just a touch up top. Okay. If you want to manipulate it, let's say you want to remove something, okay? All you need, again, is a little gel cleanser. All right. Any brand will do. Oh, look, now you guys are filtering in. I don't know what was happening, and I can see stuff now. Like I said, I wasn't going to worry about it because we're going to save it for you anyway. All right. But you see what that did. Okay. Maybe you don't want this to be a round area. Then you can just remove it. Okay. Gel cleanser on the brush. All right. Move this up. It's really whatever you want, right? Whatever you desire here. But gel cleanser that's what you're going to use. Now you see that my Sahara down here in the right is dry again. That's okay. I just reactivate it with some gel cleanser. And we could put more right back on the nail. okay? Just added more. All right, so they're very, 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 very versatile. Oh, I'm glad you like the tutorials. Thanks for watching. All right, so we're going to let that dry for a second. We already have a spot with Sahara on the palette, so let's just move on to another one. All right, this time we're going to use another gel. All right, this is 016. It's a periwinkle, right? I'm going to use that and just some of the white. So simple, guys. This is really, 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 I'm so happy and excited that Sweeties has added more and more potted gels because they're just so versatile, guys. So, so versatile. We'll also use a T series so that you can see what it can do. All right, so I just put a little of that periwinkle on. Let's use T06. All right, so this is Elegant Charcoal. Oh, I'm glad you guys found us because it really was acting like no one was on and I couldn't see comments. I know they're really fun. Pigments, gels like this. All right, just let it melt, guys. Let it melt. All right, let's get some white in there. Let it do its thing. Another way that you can use these is while the gel is wet, okay? So you can dab some of this into it while the gel's wet. We'll do that on this one. I think I have a reel up of something like that. All right. White. This is T01. And you see what you can do with just 3 gels. It's already kind of cool. All right, just super thin. This is all one coat, right? We haven't done anything else. So let's activate the charcoal, the mist. All right, so this is the gray. Again, we're going to put gel cleanser on the brush. And I'm going to dip. All right. Oh, well, that's really wet. Just a touch will do. You see? See that on there? Let me go down here where I put the charcoal before. And I'll move my palette so you guys can see it. I am just making a little charcoal mix down here. All right, see it right there? If you want to add more, you can. Just pick up a little more. You remember that nail is wet. All right, still wet. All right, so let's say we want some here. You see? We are just putting the pigment powder in while the gels are still wet. And then maybe what we'll do is go cure this, and then we'll go in a different way with the powders, okay? Hold on one second. Cure that. They really are so much fun. Here is another thing that we can do. I'll make it a tiny one. A tiny one. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this. Who picked up... Oh, we didn't put a top coat on here. Let me do that first. That's going to really exacerbate this for us. Who picked up the second set of pottery from the Favory during the sale? if you did you know that they can be chromed? I'm going to show you that real quick. All right, let's get the pottery. Here it is. Let's do the pearl one. All right. So this is part of the pottery collection. I feel like the consistency is a little bit different than the first one. Like you'll see it's not quite as sticky. Okay. You see that? This is just a pearl. Pearl swirl. All right, we're going to cure that. In the meantime, we're also going to put a clear over top of this. That's just basically some wet pigment in the gel. All right. And then if you have the first collection, you could add silver to this. Maybe we want to add a little black. They do take a little bit of practice. If you're using white, that one takes a little bit of practice. Because what takes practice, and this is what you have to get used to, is how much gel cleanser compared to how much pigment, right? So it just takes a little bit of practice to see how you like to do that, how the effect that you want. White is one of the tougher ones. I'll show you on this one. You can use it easily on a clear, but if you're using it on matte and you want a particular type of line, you definitely have to practice getting the right ratio for the powder and the gel cleanser. And then you also can use all kinds of different brushes. You saw me just using like an art brush for a very easy swipe. If you want to get very specific, about those white lines, there's a Palette Carys Artiste Voce. So this is the French 2, and this is what she uses. So if we were doing a line here, she's just going to use the tip of this brush and like do a white line like that. This is distracting, but you understand what I mean. If we get to it, we'll give it a try. Sometimes I can do it. Sometimes I don't love it. It's just one of those things. You just have to keep playing with it and practicing with it until you get the ratio that you like. And yeah, it's really a beautiful look. Which one of these has white? This one? That's white gel. This is the white powder. I want to show you this one too with some darker colors. Okay. All right, hold on one sec. This one's now done. And you see, by just using a few gels and the pigment powder, that really does look like way more complicated than it is. All right, this has been cured. I want to just show you that you can put chrome on it, which is nice. And then, oh, hold on, let me get a chrome. Sorry, guys. Let's just do a silver pearly chrome. And then we'll do some of that powder. I'll show you what I mean. And you can also touch these pigments as chrome in areas if you wanted to, okay? All right, so that's pottery pearl. All right, you see, nice little sheen to it now. And you can use these as textured, like, here, let's do another little one. You guys can use Blanc de Bleu with this one. Hold on one second, I lost you on this screen again. Let's do a texture that I know chromes. All right, so that would be this Antique Blanc de Bleu. And then let's put some of this Sahara on top. All right, so you see that's a textured gel, right? Watch what's going to happen if we use the powder on top. Because you can. There's multiple ways to use these. Very, very versatile, very, very fun. And an easy way to like just add some metallic to a nail. Okay. You can drip it in a clear top too. We'll do that too. So trying to think of all the ways to show you. And I'll tell you what, I promise I will start making some more short videos of each type of look, because sometimes it does get a little confusing. All right, so let's use another dark. I'm going to show you again the difference between one that's a number and one that's got a T, okay? There is a difference. So if it has a number, it's going to be more opaque, and that's not to say that it's complete, like it's not the same as, you know, us using an opaque nail gel. But in this case, all right, it is more opaque than using a T series, and T stands for transparent. So that's going to give you a very, very, very soft blend. This is also what you would want to grab if you want to darken up an area, like I showed you with the Earl Grey. So here is the T. All right, so you see how light that is? All right. It is like a shadow, you know, like a little tiny bit of a shadow. All right, and then we're going to use some black in a minute. All right, so let's cure that. So black is called Onyx. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. And you can also use them dry. So if you have a sticky inhibition layer, okay, which we just put on, you can use these pigments dry and you can burnish it in. Let's make some black real quick. Oops. All right, there we go. Well, there we go. All right, so we need the pigment powder. We need the gel cleanser. And then you need to tap it. All right, you're just tapping a little tiny bit. This is going to last you for a very long time. Do you see this black now? It's reactivated. Okay. Just to give you an idea on my own nail. All right. All right, you can just put it right on the nail if that's what you were looking to do. All right. But let's use it as a shadow this time. That's going to drive me nuts, so let me wipe that off. All right, let's use it dry. Okay. All right, so we're going to burnish some of it into here. Let's take a little brush. And let's take a little bit of, like we're going to say sticky is right here. So get some of that stickiness on your brush. All right, and picked up a little bit of pigment powder. Okay. And I'm just going to burnish it right into this area. And you see what it's doing, right? It's creating shadows. You could do this right around like a Halloween nail on the edges, etc. But it's giving it a rougher look because it's not activated, it's not wet. Okay, and then you can take a tiny like cotton swab. You could take a tiny, like, I think these are for like eyelashes. Hold on. I don't know, you guys could tell me, but like a little thing like this. Then take your gel cleanser and remove areas of what we just did there. Okay. I mean, this one's a little funky, but sometimes nuance is funky. All right. So like make some interesting areas and pull that pigment away. See what we're doing? We're creating depth by removing stuff and letting it get gritty in some areas and not in others. Right, I just pulled that down. See how I just pulled that down? There's so many ways you could use this. These powders, they're just really, really versatile. Right, so now there's nothing going on over here. Doesn't really matter, but you see this is way more complex now. As soon as it dries, we can put on top, and that's going to show you the difference between the pearl, the pigment, the color. There's a lot of things going on here now. All right, so I also want to show you how you can use these right on top of, this is sienna. Right, so take a little tiny bit even on your finger, or a, what do you call it? Eyeshadow brush. Yep, here I got one. Right out of the jar, you can put this on a no wipe. You see? So you can kind of use it as a chrome. I mean, it's gonna look better with these metallics for sure than the ones that are matte. But this is an easy way to get some of that textured metallic on here. All right, and you could finish up something like this. Do you see how that has a pink? I don't know if it's coming across, but if you put this down, it has a little bit of that pink glow as well as the copper. So that is sienna. It's really beautiful. And what I'd probably do with this is just grab a layering gel. And you know, this is also the Favorite. And you know these separate, right? So they give us that dotted look anyway. So you can keep that metallic in there. Quick and easy nail look that looks complicated, but it's not, okay? Favorite layering gels are really fun. You could have used the Moon Gel from Nail Bio too. That would work. Let's just do that. Let's do a top coat on here now. Where'd I put it? Sorry, guys. If you saw my story yesterday, I was showing you what my table looked like when playing with getting some of these done for you guys. It's pretty crazy, and it's that crowded again right now because it's just so many products to show you. Because we're using so many things. That's okay. I'm glad the live started because it was not really working, was it? All right, where did that little gray one go? All right, so this has clear on it. Let's wipe off the inhibition layer. And what do you guys want to see? Do you want to see the onyx? Do you want to see the black on it? The silver? The metallics are the easiest to use 100% because they look good no matter how you touch the nail. No matter how you do it, it looks beautiful. You could use a big brush, you could use a little brush. It's always going to look great with the metallic. 100% the easiest. Yes to silver. All right, That is from the first set. Okay. Look, they're so full too. And the funniest thing is you use the tiniest amount. So here's silver. Hope you can see that down there. I know it's kind of hard when you have comments. All right. More. I want more. If you have more gel cleanser, it's going to disperse more. Do you see? If you have less, it's going to be more concentrated. All right. See, just play around with that. That's all you have to do. All right. You can do tiny dots. You can do anything that you want, guys. They're very, very versatile tools for nail art. Very, 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 very versatile. Any gel cleanser will do. And the only reason, if you guys missed in the beginning, because I think probably a lot of people did, something going on there. Alcohol and acetone dry so quickly that you don't have time to manipulate the pigment powders. Okay, so that's why you want to use a gel cleanser. And then you can go in and manipulate it as much or as little as you want. Lots of times I feel like you hit it, just let it be. It looks nice. Don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. But if you want to go in and remove something, all you have to do is hit it again with gel cleanser. Okay, that's it. All right, you do need to let it dry for a few seconds, but like we said, it evaporates quickly, so you will be good very quickly to go finish up your nail look with the top coat. Let me see what we have in the lamp here. Okay, something like this, I want to show you a way to finish that. Something like this, I'm going to just finish off with a top coat. We already put top coat on the one, but I would do a 3D top on top of that. Okay. But see, a nice juicy top coat on this is going to make it look like what came first. The layering gel, the pigment, the texture under there. It's just a cool, easy look. Easy and breezy. Isopropyl alcohol and gel cleanser. Gel cleanser is usually a hybrid of like isopropyl alcohol. Isopropyl alcohol is going to dry like lickety split, and you're constantly going to be fighting to manipulate the pigments because it dries so quickly. So gel cleansers usually have a few other things in them. I'm not going to say what, because you could use any gel cleanser, and I'm not entirely sure the differences between the different gel cleansers, but it has something in there where you can take your time a little bit, and that's going to help you with, what do you call it? Manipulating and playing with the gels. The pigments is what I'm talking about. And we are going to take a stiff brush. See, this is nice and thick, this caramel from Mayan B. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. And we are just going to do, we want it up on that black, on the onyx. And we want some of the pearl to be highlighted. When you put on a little bit of a 3D top on top, and it doesn't have to be a huge blob, it doesn't have to be really lumpy, bumpy 3D, but if you do this, it is definitely going to like magnify certain areas of the nail. And that's also going to show you the different things that you did with the onyx pigment, the what was that? 18, the dusty blue, and then also the pearl and the chrome. Okay. So it's just a little finish that does actually elevate the nail look if you're doing something that is nuance and you have layers on there and you want to highlight chrome, like a sandwich type look, it will grab all that and it's going to exacerbate that. So definitely consider that when you're finishing off a nail look that has all those different layers. All right, so this one, let's put the top coat on. I really do feel like there's too much on the table and it doesn't know where to focus, but it is what it is, guys. All right, so we put the mist in while wet, and then we put the silver over a clear. Okay. There you go. Getting a little tired of you, Instagram. You keep saying that there's something going on. It's really not. All right, so let's play around with this blue. Blue is really beautiful, but I was actually having a little bit of difficulty with it because it's grainy. It's a little bit grainy, kind of like Earth from the first collection. And what I mean by grainy is that it is gritty, a little gritty. You can see it here on my palette. Okay, and this is Earth. You see how it's gritty, right? So's the blue. So I talked to Carys last night and she said, mix the blue with water. So let's try it, okay? She said it is a little grainy and you can totally mix it with water. So let's get some blues. Let's try again. Here, let's use this one. This is 017. This is vintage blue. All right. Again, the ones that are numbers are going to be a little bit more opaque than the ones that start with T, because the T series stands for transparent. Okay, and we're using this super lightly. You'd think this is a T. It's not. If you put it on heavier, all right, you're going to get heavier areas. Just tapping away. We're going to use some white. T01, a well-used color because it goes with everything. Maybe we'll use some brown too. Oh, and I want to show you the darker one. All right. Again, nuance, there's not much rhyme or reason. You just have to tap around and play. The more you play with nuance and those types of designs, the more your hand's just gonna almost muscle memory where you want to darken things up, where you want to lighten things up. If you have too much blue somewhere, seriously, that's all you have to do. All right. This is a little heavy here. Let's just hit it. And let's just cure it and move on. Let's try the blue with the water. Here's this one. Here's this one. And let's also play around with the darker color one because it is fall. Let's do it. All right. So for that, let's use some greens. And guys, don't be afraid to mix colors that you wouldn't think work well together. It doesn't have to be the same color. Again, I'm just brushing this on. Let's use, I need a wet wipe. I need my lint free. All right. Green and blue. The harder I press, the more it's going to blend. Just go ahead and do it. Okay, we could use an orange. All right. But her pots are great. This is 04. This is sepia. All right, we'll use some of those darker colors. All right, tappity tap. All right, so we've got some colors on there. Let's just cure it. All right, and let's go to town with this blue. So the blue, which is called navy, you can see it looks more navy on the inside. It looks like crushed velvet. I mean, it's so pretty. I am a blue fan. So let's get a little water this time. And let's pick up some blue. I don't want the whole brush, my blue here. The hardest thing with this one's seeing how much I'm picking up. Oh, that's a lot. All right, I need more water. Hold on. Oh, if I could shift this and show you without throwing everything on the ground. Let me see. Let me see if I can move this. Oof. I have it right here on the right. And this is definitely darker. Definitely darker. Let's just hit this. Oh, oh. This is what we want. All right, that is with water, okay? That is with water. So now we're going to go in and take some of that away. All right, let's thin it out a little bit. All right, and we're just using water. She said it would work great with water, and she was not kidding. Okay. See that? Oh, that is yum. You can blend it out more. I rather like the dark areas like that. I think it looks good. All right. That is a really pretty blue streak. Yep. So the blue, unlike the rest of them, is going to work better with water. Okay. It's going to dry very quickly, but let's do this too. And I told her I promised that I would spread the word on that with the live today. If you were lucky enough to, she is so much fun to learn from. She's an amazing artist, and her products are they're beautiful. Here, let's use this real quick. All right, so this is a tea series. So again, it's going to be more transparent. So they have bubbles because I made sure I really, that I really cleaned up these bottles, like blended them, because some of them needed a good hit. Oh, look. Oh, that's cool too. Picked up some pigment with the gel. All right. I like that. Apparently you can manipulate it this way too. Probably should have put clear on, but I don't care. Nuance has no rules, guys, okay? You can play with it however you want, and it's going to look great. All right. Let me wipe this real quick because I did get a lot of blue in there. Wiping it with gel cleanser just because I don't want to taint my white, my T01, which is the white gel. All right. Tappity tap tap. That's all we're doing. I always feel like blues look good with golds, so I might do a little bit of that too. And even with us touching this all these different times, This is still not a thick nail, okay? Just not. It's not going to be a thick nail. Pigments aren't going to make it thick, and gel pots are not going to make it thick, okay? It's just not going to happen. All right, hold on one second. Let's cure that. Let's do a clear over top so we're not. And we're going to dust this up a little bit. So we're going to use this. What is this called? Elegant Charcoal. Great one. Or we could even use a darker brown. Ready? This one's called Chestnut. You see how sheer this one is? Okay, so little. These pots last for so long. You see what that did right there? All right. Same here. You kind of burnish in the darker colors. All right, just to give you more depth. Here, let's use this charcoal too. You see it there. All right, so now there's definitely more going on here than just those three colors. All right. And we're going to cure that. You can go a little at a time. You can go a lot. You know, it's up to you. Let's do a lot. Oh, you know what else we didn't look at? Hold on. Let me show you this. I want to show you the cocoa. May not go great with this nail, but we're going to use it anyway. Okay. We're going to do a coat of clear just to even things out a little bit. I would really go into this one with the onyx or the mist, but let's just show you cocoa. So clear is always going to even everything up, and it also adds depth when we're adding something on top. So it's always good to hit it with a clear, then go back in for your next step. Right? It protects what's already happening on the nail, but it also will give you a layer of depth. Okay. Oh, I don't know. I just want to hit this with gold, or the Sahara is really what I want to do with this one. All right. But, all right. And I will make a video with the white, what I've found with the white. But we've looked at mist, onyx, the Sahara, and sienna, and the blue. So the last one we need to look at is cocoa. Look at this. Talk about earthy. Oh, we can use this on the natural one. Hold on, we'll do that. Yeah, we can do it on this one. Okay. If I've missed any questions, you guys, I'm back looking at the monitor. I have really been paying attention to what we're doing and trying to get this done. Because I feel like it wasn't showing you guys anything when we started. I don't know where everyone was, but okay, I'm adding some of this cocoa. All right, just dabbing it onto the clear. All right. What a great natural color. Look what that just did. All right. Oh, it's cool. Deepened it up. Great natural colors. Again, you could go over top this with more gel if that's what you want to do. All right, as soon as it's dry, I'm going to put a clear over top, and then we're going to go in with some gold. But it is a beautiful, beautiful, natural, dusty color. Like, it's going to enhance your nails here. And this one is done. Let's cleanse it. It's got a clear on it. Let's go in with that gold. All right. Again, the metallics are the easiest ones to manipulate. They have a mind of their own, especially if you're using a lot of gel cleanser. But they're really, really, really easy to quickly add metallic to a nail. So simple. All right, so there was more gel cleanser there, so you're only seeing a little bit of the gold. You can do whatever you want. Look at it drying. Yum. Gorgeous. Very, very, very easy way to add metallic. You don't have to worry about it. And you want to get rid of some, go ahead. With gel cleanser, see? All right. Simple. The metallics are really, really easy, and every time, I don't care how you use them, they look great. Should I let that dry for a second? Let's put clear on this. Oh, I left the top off. Jeez. Whoa. All right. There are beautiful choices in set 1 that has gold, silver, copper, white, redwood, which is a really great fall color, fall pigment, and earth, which is gritty and super cool. Like here, let me show you earth real quick because that's wet. Earth, I would just dab right in there. See how it's like this dirt? It's great. Get my brush a little bit wet. But you can't go wrong with any of them. And I just had somebody say to me, like, I've tried other pigments. There's just no comparison to her pigments. Like, they're just so good. They are so good. You know what you're getting. And it's cool. See that? All right, so we added some earth. All right, we're going to cure that. Just into a wet clear layer. Like I said, a million ways to use it, guys. And there's no real wrong way. All right, so just play around, have fun. Use it however you want. Let me clean up some of these pots so we can take a look at some of the stuff we did. Oh, I have an idea. Let's finish this one off with a texture. All right, do like my texture gels. And then let's wipe a gold on top. I'm going to move this out of the way for right now. I'm not, because I still need it. Hold on. Maybe we'll just do it plain. Another thing. Oh, I have an idea. Hold on. Another thing you can do. Clear. Let me see. Her clear. Here it is. All right. So here's her clear no wipe 3D gel. All right. Looks like that. You can cure a 3D and then go over with the pigment. Okay. You can paint it. All right. Let's do that. Let's use this. Actually, we're going to do a top coat first. All right. Let's make sure this is all done, because when we do the 3D, we can just simply top coat the 3D part when we're done. All right. Little fall patch. And then we'll use some of this. We're going to drag out a pattern, and then we'll put some of the metallic on top. And then just top coat that. Does that make sense? I know we're kind of all over the place today, but I wanted to show you definitely some different ways to use the pigments. But if you're using them traditionally, what you need is gel cleanser and the pigment. okay? And practice. That's it. The metallics are the easiest ones to use, the ones that are more matte. The white, these would have mist, onyx, navy, cocoa that are more matte. You just need to practice with your ratio of gel cleanser and what you're aiming to accomplish. Like we saw, just burnishing it in. Of course, that's super easy, but it is a great way to give that dusty line. We even pulled it down here, okay? They can be used chrome, like chrome, over a texture. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. All right, so this is done. So just to finish this off, let's put some gel there. You see where it is? Yeah, it shows. I don't want any gritty bits. Right? Make sure nothing's sticking up too much. All right, let's do that. And if you want the metallic to be stronger, you're going to want less gel cleanser, more powder. So that's what you have to mess around with. And we have that kind of already made here. Once you have your palette of pigment, go ahead and remix. If you need more pigment, go ahead and pick up. All right, you can reactivate this. You see it on there? Maybe we'll make a mix. Oh, and I did mean to tell you guys that too. You can mix these, okay? So you could mix that blue with the white. You could mix the blue with the black to get a darker black, etc. That is totally allowed. All right, so go ahead and make whatever you want. Whatever color you want. Now, we are just going to simply paint over what we just did, all right? You see? Let it dry, and then we just top coat that area. And I'll take it off the stand. This is actually kind of cute. Interesting for fall. Now I can move this. Oh, things falling. What else is new, right? All right. But yeah, all kinds of ways to use them. Please find them, of course, at Sweetie Nail Supply. All right. But yeah. Thank you for hopping on. Again, we'll save this for you guys. Absolutely. The best way to top coat this would be to choose like a clear, like a liner top. So that means it already has the liner built in there for you. Okay. Probably should be more careful than that, but whatever. If it's on your nail, be more careful than that. But you get it. We don't have to redo the whole nail. We already did that. So we are just top coating that pigment. All right. And voila. All done. All right, guys, I feel like I'm just watching this to tease since I can't order. Pooty hoo. I think there'll be an announcement soon. Soon. Don't fret, my US friends. They told us it was temporary, so you just get your list together, and then when they make an announcement, you'll know what you need. By the way, if there's any questions, you guys know where to find me. You can always ask me on Inspo by Nails. I'm always around. I'm happy to help. But I'm going to save this right now, and then I will talk to you guys super soon. Thanks again, guys. Have a good rest of your Thursday, and I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Bye, guys.